What's going on, guys? Kyle Bradshaw from MotoCity Powersports, and today we're looking at the Motoz Tractionator Desert HT tires on this edition of Motoz Monday. Now, this is going to be the most dirtiest or most aggressive of the Motoz lines for the big adventure motorcycles. Now, I have personally just finished running this tire on my 950 Super Enduro, and I took it all kinds of places, up to Moab and Death Valley, and it performed amazingly. Now, this tire comes in both a tubed version and a tubeless version. Now, the tube type tires are usually meant for single cylinder, single seat motorcycles. That's going to be the 140, the 130, the 120, and even the 110 series tire. It's going to be phenomenal for any of those bikes, 300, 450. So again, single cylinder, single seat motorcycles. They also have tubeless versions, which are going to be more heavy duty. They're going to be wider. They're going to be phenomenal for you getting the most traction you can possibly get out of your big adventure motorcycle. These are going to be the big KTMs and big BMWs, the Teneres, but the big Ducati Multistradas. There's tire sizes to fit all of those motorcycles. Now, a caveat that I would like to make in the discussion of tubeless versus tubed. For example, the Africa Twin and the Tenere 700. Those both are tube-type motorcycles, and they have relatively wide rims as compared to a smaller, non-adventure, more dual-sport type motorcycle. So because those rims are wide, you're going to want to run the tubeless type tire. It's going to allow that tire to have the perfect fitment on your rims. You just need to make sure that you add a tube into the tire when you make your installation, as your bike needs a tube in order to be able to work. So any of the Motoz tires, you can run a tubeless tire as long as you insert a tube if you're running traditional spoked wheels. And you're going to be able to get about 3,000 miles out of a set of these tires, and you're going to have the most performance possible in deep sand and mud and things of that nature. Now, the reason that you have such great traction with these as compared to, say, a TKC80 are a couple fold. The biggest is going to be the actual tread depth. This tire is almost twice as deep when it comes to tread depth as a TKC80. So we can take a look at our tread depth meter right here. Here we're looking at 21/32 or 18 millimeters. We're looking at 15/32 or about 13 millimeters. Now, there are a couple different reasons that you're going to get so much mileage out of this tire as compared to a TKC80. The first of those is going to be tread depth itself. This has almost twice the tread depth of a TKC80 rolling right off the production line. That's super deep when it comes to adventure tire tread depths. Now, another reason that we're going to have great longevity out of this tire is the fact that on the durometer reading here, we're looking at 72 to 73 on the durometer reading scale. It's going to be slightly harder than that of a TKC80, so you're going to get longevity, but it's going to be soft enough in order to be able to perform well out there in the situations that you want to tackle. Now, another reason this tire does so good is the distance in between each of these lugs. So let me go ahead and set my tread depth indicator here. It's going to allow us to take a look and see the distance between this tread is just over an inch in distance there. So you talk about the tread depth and the distance between these lugs, it's going to be phenomenal. Now, another reason this tire, I believe, performs better than TKC80 is the fact that these lugs are different shapes and sizes, and that's going to give you different leading edges as compared to the TKC80. You basically have a straight block, and it's basically a straight line that goes all the way across the tire. I don't think that type of tire tread is the most optimal for adventure bike riding or for riding in adverse terrain conditions. So the more leading edges that you have, the more bite that you get, the deeper the tread, the further the blocks are apart. All of those are contributing factors. Now, a neat thing that they have done with this Motoz Tractionator Desert HT is the fact that these side blocks are actually connected one to another. That means that the base of the block is a lot sturdier and stronger, while the outside of the block here, the part of the block that's hitting the ground first, that's going to give you a great flexible lug here on the top, while having lots of stability and structure at the base, so when you lean into corners on the pavement, you're still going to feel like you're secure.
got just a little bit more juice than I got on the 950 here, but that wasn't too bad. Twisty next 8 miles, guys. 8 miles of this. Woohoo! It's like a racetrack. All right, take a look at the rubber. Ooh, it's hot. Smoking hot. And this rear tire, let's take a look at it real quick. Oh yeah, we're chewing this thing up on the pavement. The all-natural rubber that they use definitely makes a difference.
And that there sums up my overview of the Motoz Tractionator Desert HT tire. Now tune into our next Motoz Monday. We're going to talk about the Motoz Rally tire, or Rawls tire, depending on how you want to say it. It's a phenomenal tire that Motoz has come out with. This is an 80-20 tire, 80% off-road and 20% on-road. Thank you guys for watching, really appreciate it. If you want to purchase these tires, make sure you purchase them from MotoCityParts.com. The link is in the description down below. I appreciate your support. Kyle Bradshaw, thank you for watching. Until next time, take care and ride safe out there. Now, I have just pulled this tire off of my 950 Super Enduro. I had it on the bike for almost 4,000 miles, and it performed exceedingly well. It was phenomenal. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll that now, if you're interested, and you can watch my full detailed review of this tire here coming up next. What's going on, guys? Welcome to beautiful Death Valley, California. I'm currently staying here at the Panamint Springs Resort.
Panamint Springs was originally built in 1937 by William Reed, foreman for the talc mine located near Darwin, and his wife Agnes Cody Reed, who was a cousin of William Buffalo Bill Cody. The couple opened a restaurant and a motel to serve travelers along the toll road that ran from Stovepipe Wells to Darwin.
This place is absolutely epic. Now, the reason for this video is I want to give you a video review, or my thoughts and feedback on this tire right here. This is the Motoz Tractionator Desert HT. Now, these tires currently have about 3,500 miles on them. I mounted these tires up and rode this motorcycle from Southern California all the way to Moab, Utah. It's about 780 miles in the day.
So the tires that I run today are the Motoz Tractionator Desert HT tires. This is the most aggressive tire, most aggressive DOT long-lasting tire that I can put on this bike for this particular expedition. It's about 700 miles each direction, and then we're probably going to be doing 150 to 250 mile days out there. So I'm anticipating that by the time I get back home, I'm going to have about 2,500, if not close to 3,000 miles on these tires. What's up? How's it going?
Look at this view.
Yeah.
Still got knobbies in the tires. What is it, 9 hours, 8 hours?
It was 9.5 on the bike, but by the time you stop, 6 times for fuel. So as I'm out traversing the trails, I'll be talking about these tires. I'll be letting you know exactly how they feel out there on the road and the various conditions that we run into. Now, I mounted these tires up last week. I've got about 50 miles on them currently. Those 50 miles were put on during the Yoshimura exhaust installation that I did on a Honda Africa Twin CRF 1100L just a couple days ago. Hopefully that video is up live on the website. If it is, click up here to go watch that. That was pretty fun. We had all the fires burning here. We went above the smoke and did the installation on top of a mountain. Go figure. Had to figure out something fun to do. I mean, the air quality down here was so bad due to the fires that we really couldn't sit in the garage and do it, so we had to get creative. So to the mountains we went. Anyway, I'm gonna cruise this highway for several hours and then I'll check back with you.
I then got to Moab and rode for 3 days, doing about 200 miles each day. These tires then took me all the way home.
So right now we're entering the Virgin River Gorge. This is a gorge that's just south of Utah, the northern Arizona border. It's It's amazing how the second you cross the border from Utah into Arizona, it becomes more deserty and dry.
Now since then, I've taken several short trips on the bike, and this weekend, I've been riding in Death Valley for 3 days. These tires have performed absolutely flawlessly. So here's a quick picture of what the tires look like when they were brand new, what they look like when I got to Moab, what they look like after the first, second, and third days in Moab. Man, and on the third day we rode Slick Rock. If there was one thing that I wish could get fixed by these tires, or by Motoz for these tires, is going to be when these tires are brand new. They're pretty sketchy on the highway. As you start to accelerate up to 65 or 70, you get this wobble in the handlebars, and there's 2 fixes for that. One, you either back off. Once it stabilizes, you can then accelerate up to whatever speed you want to be at. I've got some video of that footage that I can put in this video. I've got footage of that I'll be able to share with you here in just a minute. The other way to fix it is once it starts to wiggle woggle. The other way to fix it is once it starts to wiggle woggle, you simply take the bike and lean all the way over to one side, all the way over to the next. On the 3rd or 4th rotation, it completely stabilizes, everything settles, and then you can continue down the road as you normally would. Now that happened for the first, I'd say, 2,000 miles or so. The ride out to Moab, it happened a lot. The ride home, it started to stabilize itself, and I really didn't have that experience on the ride home. Again, an additional... And then we've got all of the riding that I've done since then, and that situation or that feeling or experience has absolutely been eliminated. Now that these tires are down to the point that they are, I get 0 wiggle in the handlebars, 0 wiggle in the rear end. Everything is super, super solid. Now when I pulled up in Death Valley, the other guys took a look at this tire and were like, oh my gosh, your tire's worn out, you're gonna ride on that? I said, absolutely. There was still plenty of tread left, and I have had no loss of traction due to the amount of tread or the lack of tread that I have on these tires here. They performed just as any other tire on any other bikes in our groups here on this trip. And that's really a testament to these tires. And that's really a testament to these tires. To be able to ride 3,500 miles on a single tire, to be able to ride hardcore terrain like we have out here in Moab and Death Valley, and to not ever skip a beat. These tires have tread... Now when it goes to top speed for these tires, they're probably rated at 99 miles an hour like most knobby tires. I have had them up to 130 miles an hour, and they have performed great. I mean, they haven't... Now on the highway, I have had them up to speeds up over 100 miles an hour, and they have been super stable at those speeds. Now with the combination of the 2 trips that I've just talked about, we've covered just about any surface you could imagine. We've had deep sand. We've had gravel roads. We've had roads that were just large rocks. We've had hill climbs. We've had descents. In a few instances, we've ran into deep sand. Literally every terrain you could possibly think about running, these tires have been through in the last several months. Now, while I am singing the praises of these tires, I'm going to say that there are 3 things that I wish could be better on the tire. Number 1 is going to be that initial wiggle waggle that you get when you put them on the motorcycle. Now, I think that that comes from the fact that the tread depth on these tires are some of the deepest tread in any of the 50/50 or more aggressive tires for adventure bikes. Super, super deep tread, and I think that just allows those lugs to move around more than the shorter tread block tires. And that's why that happens. I think that's the reason. Number 2, noise. They're pretty darn noisy on the highway. But it's a knobby tire, and all knobby tires are going to be noisy on the highway. And the third thing, I'm trying to remember. The third thing, which is a benefit as well as something I wish could be improved on a little bit, is the durability or the hardness or stiffness of the sidewall. The sidewall of these tires are extremely stiff. Once you get them mounted up, and even if you're aired down to say 18 psi, you're really not feeling the squish of that tire like you would on a traditional dirt bike tire. So these super stiff sidewalls, which also is why they hold up so well, which is why they get great longevity, and which is why you can actually run on this thing when it's flat. Actually, when I got to Moab, we went out to eat, we came out, and as I was riding down the road, you're about 5 miles into town, and I had ripped the valve core, the valve stem, out of the tube. Immediate flat, and I was about 5 miles back to camp. I rode this tire back to camp, 5 miles, normal, I rode this tire all the way back to camp, which is about 5 miles through city streets there in downtown Moab. Speeds upwards of 40 miles an hour or so. Got back, 0 damage to the tire, and I went ahead and swapped the tube out for a new tube. Now that being said, mounting these up or spooning them onto your own rims can be a little challenging. It takes a little bit of finesse, if you will, practice and patience. If you're proficient at changing tires, you won't have any problems at all, but if you're a noob to changing your own tires, these can cause you to get a little bit of a workout. You're gonna have to use some muscle to get them on there. Now let's touch base really quickly on the things I love about this tire. Longevity. I've had 2 epic trips that this tire has put me through. A ride to Moab, spent 5 days there, and the ride back. Numerous trips up in the San Bernardino Mountains where I live, and now this trip out here in Death Valley. Seriously, some of the most rugged terrain that you can put a tire through, and this thing's done it, and has done it for 3,500 miles. That's pretty amazing. I can't think of another tire this knobby that I could put on the motorcycle that would allow me to have that longevity. Anyhow, these here are the Motoz Tractionator Desert HT. These here are the Motoz Tractionator Desert HT tires. If you like what you saw today, or you have any if you liked what you saw today, please give me a thumbs up. And if you want more action, and that's it. Just a quick discussion about these amazing tires from Motoz, the Tractionator Desert HT. Now these tires come in a tubed and a tubeless version, so make sure that when you're ordering those, if you do have a tubeless setup, you don't want to put a tube tire on there, but if you do have a tube type rim, you can absolutely run the tubeless tire on your motorcycle. That's pretty much what I have here. I've got the tubeless 150, was it 150 40 18, I believe it is. I can't see the size. Anyhow, if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions about these particular tires, leave a comment down below. And if you want to stay in the loop for more content like this, moto-related content, please hit that subscription bell. And if you want to stay in the loop and be notified when new videos are uploaded, please hit that subscribe button, and more importantly, the notification bell. Until next time, and as always, I'm Kyle Bradshaw. Take care, and ride safe out there. Take a look at some of these clips and some of the narratives that I've had while riding these tires in Moab. Now let's fast forward a month and take a look at some of the clips from Death Valley. All right, it's almost down over there. So now let's flip around to the other side over here. And over here, you can take a look at all of the dirt roads that go up into the mountains here. The riding here is absolutely endless. Thousands of miles of dirt road out here in Death Valley. I highly recommend, if you have not been here before, you book a trip. Put it on your vacation list because it is magnificent and spectacular and you won't regret it. Now, I'm Kyle Bradshaw. Thank you for watching this motovlog of Death Valley. If you got any questions, please leave a comment down below. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. And if you want more action like this coming directly to your inbox, please hit that subscribe button. And more importantly, ding ding, that notification bell. Until next time, and as always, take care. Ride safe out there. What's up, guys, and welcome to Death Valley. Today was amazing. The sun is just going down here at the Panamint Springs Resort, and we have all arrived back to camp, and I really am looking forward to sharing this day with you guys. Phenomenal. If this was a meal, it was a 5-course one for sure, and I can't wait to take you on each of the little segments or courses that we've had to experience today. The first part of today was getting from here over to Stovepipe Wells, which I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's a little black ribbon that disappears into the mountains behind me. That there takes you over. It's about 35 miles from here, I think, if I remember right. It's our gas stop. We got gas there. We then took off and went to the top of the mountains over there. Absolutely spectacular views. We then jumped down and went to a little place called Goldwell Museum. This is a little museum town that was established way back in the day. I'll have some more of that information for you as we get into this video. We then rode Titus Canyon. Now, Titus Canyon was phenomenal. I had ridden Titus Canyon about 10 years ago or so on my R1200 GS Adventure, and it was magnificent then. But I couldn't remember, or I didn't remember, I should say, the vastness or the craziness of that canyon. That canyon is remarkable, and if you're ever driving through Death Valley, you have got to take a look at Titus Canyon. Anyhow, in the meantime, I'm going to take you on a trip but in the meantime, I'm taking you on a trip that's going to take you through our entire day. And then I'm going to post separate videos after that with each of those different courses in various chunks. Now, join me really quick as I flip the camera around and we watch the sun set here in Death Valley over Panamint Springs. Now join me here in Death Valley as we watch the sunset over the Panamint Springs Resort. Now this Panamint Springs...